Hey guys, this is Locke. In this video, I'm going to share you a neat trick on how you can debuff the boss's attack for the entire duration of a fight. This will work on virtually any boss and it would last on the entire duration except for the first 12 seconds. The first 12 seconds he will not be debuffed, but after that, however long the fight lasts, you will not have a second where the boss doesn't have the attack penalty debuff on him. So I'm going to share with you how it works, a little bit of theory, and then I'm going to show you in practice against a couple of different bosses. So we will go to gallery, and I will show you this is what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to achieve the attack penalty 2 debuff on the boss all the time, right? I actually should suggest doing this with two rare units. I'm going to suggest Sigrid and Arena. But honestly, it would work with just about anyone. I just think that Sigrid and Arena are both very good. I don't have Sigrid, so I used a different unit. I used Arena and this girl. I think you say Iola, maybe? I don't know how you say her name. I'm really bad with name pronunciations. But anyway, so I'm going to explain how it works, and then we'll see it in theory. Sorry, we'll see it in practice. So it is really important that the units that you pick, their skills are fully leveled up, especially for their ultimate skill. So that's another reason why I suggest doing it with two rares, because it's easier to level them up, because you have the rare skill scrolls that appear more frequently than the epic ones. So we are going to look at this skill. Assuming it's fully leveled up, she will first cast this skill and apply the attack penalty debuff on the 12th second. And that would last from second number 12 to 22. And then if you're just looking at Arena in a vacuum, she will again apply this skill on second number 32. So from 22 to 32, the boss does not have the attack penalty 2 debuff on him. So during that time, you get somebody else, and I suggest Sigrid. You get Sigrid to apply her attack penalty 2. And you can easily do this to happen at second number 22. You don't have to do it manually. There's a way to set it up on auto, so that you just set it and forget it. And it could work, as I said, for virtually any boss. The only thing you need to remember is their skills have to be fully leveled up, at least this skill. Maybe the other skill doesn't have to be, but this skill has to at least be fully leveled up. And you also need high accuracy. If you don't have high accuracy, you're going to miss the attack penalty on the boss, and if you miss it, then you don't have coverage. So I'm going to show you this in practice. I'm going to show you how to set it up, how you can set it up to work in auto, and I'm going to show you with a rare epic team. The team that I'm using is this one. As I mentioned already, I don't have Sigrid, that's why I'm using her. But if you have Sigrid, I do recommend that you use Sigrid instead. I'm using this tank, but you could use any tank. You could even use the free fire tank that they give you, Horus. It would work. I'm using her, but you can put anyone you want. I just thought the team that I have could use more healing, so I put her on here, and I'm just going to quickly go over their stats and values so you can see. Most of these are level 70. The only one that's not is her, and that's because I already leveled her for something else, and I didn't want to go back. I mean, I can't unlevel her, and I didn't want to level up yet another person to show this video, so I'm just using her. But everyone else on this team is level 70, and as you can see, they're not even using any yellow gear. All their gear is purple. So and they're fighting this boss, which is level 125. So let me show you how you can set this up. I already have it set up. I'm going to delete it and show you from scratch what you have to do. So once you have aligned your units to whatever position you want them to be, you press this button right here, right above the auto raid. You press that button and you click save. You can name it whatever you want, doesn't matter. Click save, and you have your team. So now you have to click the edit skill button, and here you basically specify what I just told you in theory. So as I said, Arena is going to cast her skill on the 12th second, and after that she's going to cast the skill every 20 seconds after. So you set that up. Now you want your Sigrid, but I'm using someone else, but you want your Sigrid to cast her skill on second number 22. So that is what you're going to set here. You're going to move this all the way up to 22. And then you're going to have to move this up to 20. Sometimes you might be wearing some gear that's going to lower their cooldowns a little bit. Like in this case, I could cast it every 19 seconds, but then at some point I'll have 1 second of not coverage. And that 1 second might be when the boss happens to ult. I don't want that. So I don't want to have any breaks in it at all. I want to start it on second number 20. So this way, the way this is set up, there will not be a second that the boss has there will not be a second where the boss is not afflicted with the attack penalty 2 debuff. Uh, so, except for the first 12 seconds. The first 12 seconds, it's too early for me to cast. Maybe I can bring in somebody that casts it on second number 7 or something with a battle skill, and then I can have only the first 7 seconds of not coverage if you want, and you're finding that, that is happening a lot. Maybe that's something you want to look into. I don't know. But or maybe you can bring somebody that would, like, I don't know, apply a shield for the first few seconds. Oh, especially your what's it called? Your hero, your main character. If you bring her and you bring her as an ice element for the first, I think, 10 or 20 seconds, she will apply a defensive buff to your whole team. So maybe that's another way you can offset the first 12 seconds if you really need to. But I will run this now, and you will see how this works in practice. So as you can see on the left side here, it says auto, and then there's an hourglass figure. That means that some units are using skills on specific times, which is what you said. And you can see that my Iowa is able to cast her skill, but she will not. She will only cast it when the attack penalty went off. Now she's casting it. So I don't have any time where my units don't have coverage. They virtually have coverage the entire duration of the fight. One of the reasons I like Dalbam, that I'm bringing him, is because, as I said, for the first 12 seconds, I don't have this attack penalty debuff, right? So by bringing him, he kind of gives me a little bit of a buffer room, because I forgot to include the food. I mean, first of all, you can see this is working, but he might die. So let me just go back for a second and just give him some food that would increase his health a little bit. So I did test this out with the health. I don't think he dies, but I'll explain what I was just saying again. So we'll start this fight. He has some food. He has a little bit more health. So what I was saying was that for the first 12 seconds, as I said, I don't have coverage. By bringing Dalbam, whenever he dies, he basically gets a second chance once in the entire fight. And that might happen right in the beginning. And the reason it might happen in the beginning is because for the first 12 seconds, he's taking full damage, right? So with this setup, he works well. I mean, other units would work well too. I think Horus has something on his battle skill where he can apply the attack penalty debuff on the boss. So he has another way of mitigating damage, right? But I like Dalbam for the reason I said, that he just gives you an extra life early on in the game, and you might need that just because you don't have any coverage for the first 12 seconds. But other units would work as well, and you can find other ways to mitigate it somehow. Also, another thing that I'm noticing is that Iowa is taking some damage here now. So I would, in a typical run, I would actually switch Iowa's position with my arena, so that whenever my team gets AoE healing, her health will also be covered because she's standing right next to my tank. So you can see that this is working, right? Like, the boss has attack penalty debuff on him the entire duration of the fight. I'm gonna stop this, and I'm gonna go to a different fight to show you that it's gonna work no matter what the boss looks like, no matter what the boss's skill timer or whatever it looks like. So I'm going to show you against the Phoenix boss, because to me, actually, the Phoenix boss is the second most important boss to do anyway. The other bosses, I mean, this will work on all the other bosses, but I recommend that you focus on the Venom boss first and then the Phoenix boss second. So let me show you how it works here. So here, again, I'm just going to go to the 6th stage. And what you're going to do is, well, this was already loaded in, but you would... okay, so assume, when you load it in, it looks like this. You have to click this, and then you click on what you just created, and you press use, so that team is loaded in. All the settings and everything are loaded in. So then you can set your team however you want. All the settings are already applied. Maybe like this. Okay, so one thing I want to say with this boss is that with this specific boss, you want to apply a cleanse after he casts his ultimate. He casts his ultimate on second number 24. So in addition to all the settings that I have before, I'm also going to edit it to have my debuffer cast this skill on the 25th second. Sorry, not my debuffer, my cleanser cast her ultimate on the 25th second, and then I want her to do this every 24 seconds after that. So in addition to the rules I've already set up, this will also be happening. So I will save this and let's fight. And you can see that, for the first 12 seconds, the boss will not have the attack penalty debuff on him, but after that, for the entire fight, he will. And I'm also using 2 units here that have AoE abilities. So for this specific boss, even if he is invisible, and I'm casting it on I'm casting it on one of the birds, he will still get this debuff. Now with Sigrid, that will unfortunately not happen. So although I do recommend Sigrid for most other fights, maybe for this specific fight, you want to bring somebody that can cast the attack penalty debuff in an AoE kind of form, because Sigrid might not be able to apply it to this boss, simply because, she unless the boss happens to have a debuff when she's using her ult, she will not get that attack penalty down. And as you can see, this is working well otherwise. I mean, these guys are all level 70 except for my one level 90, and they're able to do the stage quite well. Everything is working like clockwork. I didn't have to sweat about it. The attack penalty is applied on the boss. These 2 units, they take a lot of damage because both the units that I'm using the attack penalty on are both pretty good DPS units. My cleanser is working automatically. I don't have to sweat it. I don't have to think about when I have to press it. I don't have to hover over it. I can just set it to work and kind of forget it. So yeah, that's really what this video is about. I don't know if there's any bosses that auto cleanse debuffs. If they do, then yes, you will have a little bit of problem because they might remove your attack debuff. But none come to mind that I can think of. Maybe there's one that I'm missing somehow. But as you can see, again, she missed it. Sorry, the other attack penalty wore off, so she's using her own. Now, I feel like with this one, I'm not doing enough damage, so I have to figure out something. If I'm using this team, I have to figure out some other way to kill the 2 birds fast enough so I can do this. But I just want to show off the attack penalty thing working. Yeah, it should work for any boss. The only boss it might not work for that I can't really think of is any boss that might be able to auto cleanse. The other thing you should remember is that accuracy is extremely important. So especially at level 9, you need 220 accuracy to land the debuff on this boss. Another reason that I suggest Sigrid is because she does bring an accuracy aura, which I think is really nice for this. Where is she? Attack penalty. So if you go all the way down, I do recommend her because of this aura that she can bring, so that you don't have to put as much accuracy gear if you're bringing accuracy from other sources. Food will give you 15 accuracy. This can give you 30 accuracy, so that's plus 45. But it is very important. If you don't have enough accuracy, you're not landing this, and so this strategy goes out the window. For this specific boss, as I said, I would recommend somebody that can cast it on an AoE. You can still bring Sigrid as your main damage dealer. You can bring... well, okay. So, to be honest, with this boss... okay, let's look at the attack cycle of this boss. So this attack cycle, this boss is going to cast this skill twice. It will just... Sorry, it'll cast... Yeah, this skill twice. Let's go to the fight and I'll talk about it. I'm just trying to say that maybe Sigrid and Arena is totally fine. So this boss will cast single target attack here and here, right? And the only time the AoE attack will happen is here. So if you cast this on, say, second number 22, if you have Arena cast it on second number 22, and then she casts it every 20 seconds right after that, whenever the boss is casting this AoE, you have coverage. So you don't have coverage for the other 10 seconds, when the boss is attacking here and here, but this is only single target damage aimed at your tank. So you should be able to survive that. So you probably would be able to get away with just bringing Sigrid and Arena as your attack debuffers, and for 10 seconds, Sigrid's attack penalty will not land on this boss. It might happen, but that's okay, because for that time, the boss is only using these skills on your tank, so you don't really need to have that part debuffed anyway. But if you want to, you can just bring a different AoE type debuffer. Maybe you can bring Iola if you have her, but I think Sigrid and Arena should honestly work for most, if not all the bosses in this game. So that's it for this video. If there's something that's unclear, I mean, I'm trying my best to explain this. It makes sense in my head the way I said it. But if something is just unclear, please reach out and leave a comment, and I'll do my best to explain it better. That's it for now, so I'll see you guys next time. Take care now.